Hello, good evening, and welcome, one and all. Hello, welcome everyone to another episode of Dave Wolf here with the British Hive Mind. Yeah, so as we see from the title, it's just multiple topics about things that have been going on, things that are changing, things that are happening, and yeah, just getting the word out there, speaking my mind, letting people know that we are the resistance. We are not taking it anymore. We are seeing more and more tyranny, more lawlessness, more just the fall of society. It's happening. It's happening. We can see it in front of our eyes. You don't have to be freaking awake to see it. You can even be asleep and see what's actually happening to our country. Go to walk into your nearest town centre, have a look around, filth on the streets. Yeah, but we'll get to what's been happening in our town centres over the past week a bit later on, because yeah, we all know that things have gone down this week that are absolutely abhorrent. Things that should not be happening in a civil country, in a normal country full of normal people. Like this would not be happening. But no, we opened up the floodgates and things have gone downhill rapidly. So, my first topic of the evening, my first topic tonight, is something I've seen in the news recently, and something that I've been, I don't know, how do I put it? Predicting? Yeah, I've been predicting this for quite some time. A secondary private police force. Not a private police service, a private police force using officers. Some people will understand the meaning of these words and how authoritarian they are. We are seeing a secondary police force, the launch of it. It's been done. Now, it started out, it was set up by David McKelvey and Tony Nash. These people set up a private police force in some of the richest areas of London, Mayfair, for example. A private police force on a subscription basis. So rich people can pay £200 per month for their own private police force, which has their own private dedicated number that they can ring. They have their own private meeting places where they can sit and meet and discuss. I don't know. Because they're not going to be going after the financial crimes. They're not going to be chasing down fraudsters. They're not going to be chasing down the bankers. They're not going to be doing... They're going to ignore the financial crimes. They're going to ignore the crimes of the rich. That's blatantly obvious. They are there as a private police force, a private protection service, so they can go around lawless London and feel safe. So these rich bastards can drive their fancy cars and spit upon the poor and not have to worry about it. They've got their own private police force to keep them safe and sound. Very, very dangerous, very unconstitutional, very authoritarian. And it's just shoving it in our face. There is one law for them, one law for us, and one law for them others as well. It's utterly farcical. It's not farcical. It's terrifying. It's so annoying. And they're rolling it out all over Britain now because they've had some success in these rich bastard areas. They've decided, yeah, it's a good idea. It's a good thing. Let's roll it out across the UK. And to add insult to injury, it's called the piss take name, Your Local Bobby. To sort of, what is it? Stir up feelings of nostalgia, like the good old days when the bobbies were on the beat, when the people were walking around in their uniforms looking for criminals, you know, making a police presence there to deter criminals. But now, no. What we'll see nowadays is police driving around in cars, stopping people and giving them fines. And that's about it. And how many times have you seen a police car driving around with one police officer in it? Because if a police car has one police officer in it, I'm pretty sure that police officer cannot leave that car and cannot make arrests and cannot do anything until he's called him back up. You know, this one police officer, imagine him trying to stop a gang of youths beating up a nana. Because it's happening nowadays. Like, this is happening on our streets. So this one police officer in his car is what, going to stop 8-10 youths beating up a nana and mugging a nan? No, he's not. He's going to shit himself and carry on driving, thinking, oh, that's above my pay grade. Oh, can't do that. Oh, I'll be endangering my life there. It's against health and safety. I can't get out of the car if it's against health and safety. Ooh. Exactly. And you can see that the government has aliened it. Problem, reaction, solution. Problem is, the policing has gone downhill because we've cut the funding, we've cut the officers, we've cut it. We've made the police force into a laughing stock, into a joke, into a job that no one wants. No one wants to be a police officer apart from social justice warriors and psychopaths that want authority. And that's what it's like. That's, you know, police officers don't have normal people friends. Police officers are only friends with other police officers. So they've turned into their own little insular group. And it's madness. It's madness. So they've upon our police services. They've ruined our police services. They've turned it from a police... Oh, whoa. It's not a police service anymore, is it? It's a police force. It is a standing army of political policy enforcement officers or agents. I call them agents, but I think they might actually be classed as officers. It's and all they do is they go around issuing fines to people. Government revenue collectors. Protecting private industry. Protecting the private companies and private corporations. What can you say? A private police force in our own country that is there for the rich people on the end of the phone. You know, if you've ever tried to call 101, the non-emergency number, you'll be sat there for hours on hold trying to get through to someone on when you call 101. It's ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous. I tried it before because I wanted to be a bit of a lefty and make a freaking complaint about something called old Palestinian terrorist flags flying around Blackburn. Loads of them. Loads of Palestinian flags. I wanted to complain about them because they complain about us flying the St. George's Cross. They complain about us flying the Union Jack. So I wanted to complain about them. Spent a good 20, 30 minutes on the phone to them on hold. Nothing. No people, no nothing. Put the phone down, carried on. And that's what it's designed for. That's what it's designed for. 101 is there to fob you off. And that's it. It's there solely to fob you off. So you try to ring this number, you try to report a crime or an incident, and no response. No response whatsoever. And they're trying to, this is going a bit off, well, it's still the police, but trying to instigate and promote people to report hate crimes. Report that somebody's hurt your feelings. Somebody's hurt my feelings and called me a nasty name or insulted me in some way. I feel violated. Meh. Please, officers, do something about it. Yeah, that's the state of our police in this country. People are getting away with murder, burglary, arson, real, true crimes. Whilst the police frig about policing Facebook, whilst the police frig about protecting people's hurt feelings because they're trying to curtail our freedom of speech and our freedom of expression. If that's not obvious yet, then I'm not going to say yeah, we won't touch upon that one. Now, another thing I've thought about with this private police force is, well, we know, well, you might know, I'll freaking tell you, that to be a higher ranking officer in the police, you have to be a Freemason. You have to sell your soul to Lucifer. You have to be a Mason. Why do you think they've got the checker patterns? Why do you think they've got that? Why do you think that there's Masonic symbology all over the police forces and police services? All over the world. Don't get me wrong, it's not just the UK. All over. Because to be a high-ranking officer, a high-ranking official in the police, you have to be a Mason. You will only get to a certain level. I won't say degree, but then you have to join a lodge. You have to become a Mason. You have to become a part of their secret special club that they control, that they own, that they dig dirt upon you and will use against you if you try to go against them. There's even vows in the Masonry that if you do anything against a Mason or grass a Mason up or shine light upon Masonry in any way, your life is forfeit. And these people have the power, the tools, and the means to take people's lives. That simple. And they are the police. So do you think they're going to investigate it? No, not a chance at all. They'll sweep it under the carpet like they always do. It seems to be the police nowadays are more focused on getting away with their own crimes and sweeping crimes under the carpet and lying to the public rather than finding the truth, digging the truth, investigating things and protecting the people. They only serve to protect themselves. And these private police are only going to serve to protect their paymasters. So if you subscribe to their £200 a month subscription, you'll be in the protected police ranks. You'll be protected by them. And we can see it. We can see it coming. And there's a certain community that lives among us that want their own private police force. We've seen the signs. We see them doing it themselves. We see them walking around and making sure that socially they all conform. They frown upon people that are different from them. But we'll leave that one to the side, because to have a private police force is very, very corruptible. Very corruptible. And as I say, we see a state of lawlessness in this country. We see the burqa lady chasing someone around with a knife. We see the petrol bomb man in Santander waving a machete around. We see the guy that was beheaded in the Buckies. And the guy that did it, the perpetrator, was a doctor. And they're letting him get away with I'm not saying he's getting away with it, but he's getting a lesser charge for saying he's schizophrenic or mentally deranged. So we've got mentally deranged doctors now in our country. He came here somewhat 5 years ago, and he's lived here, there, and everywhere. And he's a doctor. I don't think he's a freaking doctor at all. It's deport them. Yeah. Anyone that comes to this country and commits a crime, we don't want you here. We don't want criminals in our country. We don't want to. We've got enough of our own kind of criminals to want to import others from another freaking third world. Anyways, that's the lawlessness that's happening on the streets of the UK. There's more. There's been freaking stabbings left, right, and centre. It's just mayhem, pandemonium, lawlessness. And we're seeing the destruction of our society being played out in front of us. Slowly, but surely, gradually getting worse. Gradually getting worse. Now, these people, these pretend police officers, like the PCSOs, plastic police officers, that have sworn no oath and hold no authority, have no jurisdiction, and have no power whatsoever. Nothing. These are everyday, ordinary citizens that are nothing. They have no power, no authority, can't do anything at all. Nothing. You can literally tell them to go away. They do not give them your details. Don't give them their don't even tell them. Don't even tell them your name. Just walk away. I don't answer questions. Walk away. That's what we have to do to these people. It's what we're going to have to start doing to the actual police as well. Because they're corrupt as fuck. They're corrupt. They're evil. They are not protecting or looking out for us whatsoever. What is it? 38,000 crimes were reported and dropped the next day because they just didn't feel like doing anything about them. Yeah, I'm on a bit of a ranty, bit of a rant because the police are there to protect us. They're there to serve. Well, I think that's on the American one, to serve and protect. But the same ethos goes towards us as well. You know, they're there to, and they've used this keepers of the peace and turned it against us. The Section 35, a breach of the peace. Oh, you've said something that's upset someone. You've breached the peace. Now we're going to arrest you. What farce is this? What sort of law is that? It's not a law at all. It's policy that they are enforcing, not law. We need to get minds wrapped around this, people. We need to get many people on it, many eyes and ears. But the problem is, when we start to go down this dark road, we see that lawless. If you don't respect the police, you don't respect the constabulary, you don't respect the law of the land. This is what happens. You get lawlessness. So it's a double-edged sword. It's a double-edged sword. The police have corrupted themselves and in turn corrupted more of the country. And, cripes, I saw this, what was it, yesterday? The day before yesterday. a woman in a car park being accosted by a council muppet. That's what they've got. No authority. They're not officers. They're nothing. They're nothing people. The muppets for dropping a cigarette butt on the floor, flicking a fag on the floor. And I'm walking past it, and I saw it going on, and I told her that the guy has no jurisdiction. He has no power. He's not operating inside the law. He's operating outside of the law for a corporate entity. Walk away. Just walk away. Don't give him your details. Walk away. And yeah, she wouldn't listen. Wouldn't listen. Because of social compliance. The Nazis found this very, very fucking powerful. If you put some person in a uniform and you give them a clipboard or some paperwork or something, people follow them. People will listen to them and follow their orders. Because we're a hierarchical being. Our nature, our human nature is hierarchical. And yeah, they know how to play it against us every single time. And you see what else the police are actually up to. Here where I am, you will see 20, 30 officers on guard at the Preston New Road fracking site, protecting corporate interests. These are people protesting against fracking, and they are being arrested for nothing, arrested for protesting, arrested for breach of the peace. No, they are legally, lawfully allowed to protest against something that they voted against. We voted against fracking. We don't want it here. Nobody wants it here. Then the government stepped in and said, no, you have to have it. Because the EU, I believe, the EU has told them that they have to frack. So then the government has to then in turn implement it. Dictatorships, that's how they work. No matter what the people say, no matter how much we protest them, no matter how much we show our discontent, our ill will, and our freaking hatred for them, they do not listen, and they carry on regardless. And you can see them violently arresting the people. I've seen loads of live videos of it because the protest camp there is strong. There's a lot of people there. There's people that know the dangers of fracking. They know that it's poisoning it's poisoning the earth. It's poisoning the atmosphere. It's poisoning the water supply, and it's going to devastate the environment. Our local environment will be devastated by fracking. Look at Flint, Michigan. Look what's happened there. Poisonous water, toxic water, gas pumping out from the frigging pipe system, from the underground reservoirs. It's not only that, it's a negative energy industry. It takes more energy and more resources to frack than you get from the gas that comes out of the frack. It's detrimental to society, to the environment, to all of these things. It is a detriment to our society to say that they want to drill massive boreholes into the ground, let off explosives, pump radioactive, toxic water into this hole, into the borehole, and somehow extract gas. And then this water that comes back is completely unusable. You can't use it ever again. So they're going to have to then store this water somewhere. where it can't poison the environment even more. Where they're going to store it, what they're going to do with it afterwards, they don't have a fucking clue. They are amateurs. Quadrilla have no shuffing game plan whatsoever. They are in so much debt. They can't. They've got to fudge their numbers because the debt is so high. They are never going to make a profit. Never going to make a profit off fracking. It's not going to work. But yet they carry on. And they carry on and carry on. There's evil agendas behind this. We've spoken previously of 21, we've turned 2030. The fracking more and more looks like it is part of these agendas. Looks like it is more to drive the people out of the countryside into the cities, to drive the people away from rural living, away from farming, away from a beautiful green and pleasant land into urban shitstorms and the concrete jungle that they want us all to inhabit, to make it easy for them to control us. Yeah. And great shout out to Ian R. Crane. If you don't know of him, get to know him. Fracking Nightmare, Humanity versus Insanity. Great shows, great information, great research. Well done to that fella. He gets my thumbs up. He's a truth teller. Good on him. And yeah, so from one of his shows, I learned that there's a possibility that the membrane or the blocking thing to stop the poisons and toxins leaking into the atmosphere, into the environment, has breached. And they breach a lot. It's a common occurrence in fracking, is a membrane breach. They will, and once that is breached, then the well site is completely and utterly useless. If you carry on fracking there, it will poison the entire environment, and it will kill life, kill all life in that area. Nothing can survive with toxic water. If you destroy the water, they know this. If you destroy the water supply, everything dies. We are 90% water. Everything living is water, and if you poison that water, everything dies. And it seems that poisoning the environment is part of their plan. You look up in the sky, fucking chemtrails. You look down on the ground, you've got fracking. You've got Cardiff Bay dumping toxic radioactive mud in Cardiff Bay. Do you think that's going to be good for the environment? No. Do you think that's going to kill a lot of people? Yes. Do you think that's going to kill a lot of wildlife? Yes. And yet, we let it happen. It's carrying on. We've not stopped it yet. There is a court hearing in Cardiff on Monday near the Millennium Stadium. If you can get there, get there. Do something about it. We have to stop these people. This is a Luciferian, satanic, evil plot to decimate this planet, to kill off our people, to kill people in their billions with a B. If they can't do it by encouraging war, which they are doing very successfully, they will do it the soft kill way. They will do it by giving us all cancer through 5G, through radioactive particles in the environment. They will do it through Alzheimer's and dementia caused by aluminium. They will do it through autism caused by aluminium and mercury in soon-to-be mandatory vaccinations. They will soon be mandatory. I can guarantee that. Unless we do something about it, unless we stop these people, there's nothing stopping them. They will implement it. They will look to murder millions and billions of people. So, yeah, that's one topic over and done with, because and this will link back to it, because I saw the Ezra Levant interview with Tommy Robinson. What a moving piece. What a moving interview that was. Absolutely brilliant. If you've not seen it yet, I strongly suggest you do watch it. It explains the case, it explains the story, it explains the tyranny that we're living under. And that man, good on him, well played, Tommy Robinson. Respect. You're the one that's inspired. You've inspired me to do this. You inspired me to do my first documentarance when I went for a walk around Blackburn and just let loose with both barrels on Islam. Just let loose with them. Stuff it. Because you gave me the confidence to do it. I've known these things for many time, for a long time. I've known the problems of Islam. I learned about Islam when I was about 10, 11 years old. I was taught never to trust a Muslim. And here's the reasons why. It says this, that, and the other in the Quran. It tells them to lie to you. It tells them to deceive you. It tells them to gain your trust so you can stab them in the back and slit their throats. And for Tommy to be up and saying it, and then he's gone to the root cause of Islam, what the problems are with Islam. It's the fucking Quran, the Hadiths, it's the freaking holy doctrine that is the problem with Islam. Islam is its own problem. Islam is its own worst enemy. It hates itself as much as it hates everybody else. But it loves itself and it thinks it's the best thing ever in the world, and Muslims are somehow superior to everyone else. And he's gone to the root of that problem and he's exposed it. Now, from that interview, I noticed that he kept mentioning it was the government's fault. It's the government's fault. It was the Home Secretary. It's the Home Office's fault. It was them that put him into that prison. It was the government that put him into the position of danger that they did. It wasn't the police. The prison guards that did this. It was from the top. It was orders from the top and down through to people below the right pay grade to question it. So he's now starting, and you can see he's coming for him. He's actually said it in the interview. He's coming for him. He's going to be knocking on doors. So not only is he going to be knocking on doors of people that he likes and people that sent him letters and people that deserve some love and respect, but he's going to start coming and knocking on the doors of politicians as well and properly giving it to them both barrels. So be afraid. Let the freaking politicians be afraid that Tommy's coming. Respect to him. And I hope that he sees these. I hope that he sees, the other people that are making live videos, that are making little shows, little documentaries, little things and doing things, because we need an alternative media. We do. We need alternative media. We need alternative media outlets. And we need the people to do it. We need the journalists. We need proper journalists to get out and about. But these journalists and these people need funding, and they need protection as well. They need an umbrella. They need something to a studio, something to amalgamate them, to get them together. Because the telly box in the corner, nobody's paying attention to it anymore. The newspaper rags, nobody's Nobody awake is wanting to read them anymore. I bet no one that watches this show buys a newspaper. No one. I can, yeah. I'd put money on it. And to come back to Tommy, what a mistake UKIP have made. What they have blown their foot clean off by umming and ahhing about it. Oh, Tommy can't be a member. Oh, Tommy can't be a member. Oh, maybe he can. Maybe Tommy can be a member. Or well, we don't want. Well, if we let Tommy in, then ex-EDL people will want to come in as well. Oh, or ex-BNP people might want to come in as well. Well, we can't have that. And the NEC National Executive Committee wanted to have a debate and maybe have a member vote whether they should let Tommy Robinson join the party as a member, not as a candidate, not as nothing else, as a paying member. Whoa. And then they reneged. Then they shut themselves, and they knew that they couldn't rig this vote because that's what they were going to do. It is blatantly obvious that they were going to have this little NEC meeting, have the little conference, have a vote, and rig it and say, 52% of people said that Tommy's not welcome, that Tommy can't join the party. So, sorry, we gave it a try, we gave it a go, and we got lots of members now in it from it. But sadly, Tommy can't be a member. Sorry, no. Could you see that coming? That's what I was predicting. That's what the cogs were ticking in my mind, and now they've had to go. Oh crap! Everybody would have voted for Tommy. Lots of people would have voted for Tommy to join in, and it was so blatantly obvious he would have. The debate would have gone in his favour. And UKIP are an establishment party. They are the controlled opposition. They were I don't want to get into UKIP because if you do your own research on UKIP, I've found many things, and I won't vote for them. I'm for Britain because I've researched them, and they're a new party without any political baggage, without any debt. They need promoting. That's all they need. All they need is platform. All they need is promoting, and word of mouth will spread. These people getting to know about them, getting to know their policies, getting to know their economic stance, their NHS stance, not just the anti-Islam stance, and not just the anti-freaking EU stance, because that's a very, very strong card in our arsenal. We don't just want to leave the EU. We want to destroy the European Union and watch the dominoes fall. It has to be done. It has to be done. Once you research the European Union, you find out it's a dictatorship. And we don't want that. Nobody wants that. Yeah. So yeah, you might have seen the Pat Condell video earlier. He does it every time. He just goes bang, 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 and hits every nail on the head with this one little. I think it might be it might be a long one actually. The latest one that I've shared, like 7 minutes, but it's every freaking point he makes is you just want to give him a round of applause for it. And he's another. I think it'd be great to have in the alternative media teams. In the alternative media team, if Tommy can get this umbrella where we can all get together and all put our minds together and work on our own media platforms, our own newspapers, our own magazines, our own television shows, our own broadcasting, everything, and just wipe the slate clean. Get rid of Channel Shitty 4 with its multicultural BS. Get rid of the BBC, what is it? Bullshitting banksters corporation. Whatever we want to call it this time. The bullshit cunts. Sorry for swearing, everybody, but yeah, this is my show on my platform, on my page. I'll say whatever I fucking like. Packy nigger. Yeah. Oh, it's good how it's turned to a weekly show now. Yeah, I can feel a bit more chilled. So, yeah, UKIP, farcical. Shot themselves in the foot with that one. Shot themselves in the foot. Yeah. Now, yeah, that's... Oh, and I could do the EU Article 11 and Article 13, but I've done previous shows on that, and censorship. No matter how they try to dress it up, no matter how they try to spin it, censorship. They're just trying to use fancy language to hide the fact that they are censoring. They don't want people telling the truth. They don't want us. They know we are their biggest threat. They know that they are liars, cheats, thieves, frauds, parasites, disgusting, horrible things that need to be eradicated. And anyone who supports hate speech laws has got something to hide. Anyone that supports censorship has something to hide. Anyone who wants to quiet and silence people in the marketplace of ideas has something to hide, and knows that their ideologies, knows that their opinions, knows that their debate points are meaningless, pitiful, and would never, ever stand in the marketplace of ideas. That simple. And we've seen, because we're going to go across the pond now, because we've seen quite a lot of action in America. I'm not doing 9/11. Many people have done 9/11. There's many shows out there. There's so much information out there on 9/11. You can, yeah, I already know it. Yeah, but the farce of last week, I didn't bring it up on last week's show. Maybe I should have done. The appointment of Kavanaugh to the, I think he's a Supreme Court justice, one of the major head honcho lawmakers in the United States. And because he's expressed some anti-abortion opinions, the left have lost control. They've gone deranged. They've got Trump derangement syndrome. They've got Kavanaugh derangement syndrome. They've got complete cognitive dissonance and complete lunacy. You've got, I think on the first day, 70 arrests. 70 people were arrested for going, it's injustice, this is, fucking hell. Yeah. Then we've got evidence of them being paid to do this, which makes it even more farcical. Oh, well, one of them said this is like a travesty of justice. And I'm like, are you kidding me? You're standing up and shouting obscenities and profanities and calling it an obstruction of justice or a travesty of justice. Look in a freaking mirror. You've got Linda Sarsour making a fucking nonce of it, making a, yeah. Well, she's a Muslim. She's a nonce supporter. She thinks that the paedophile rapist Prophet Muhammad is the perfect example of man for all time. You have to be a Muslim. You must do this. You see, I do this so many times. I've wrote this comment so many times. I press 2 words on my phone, and the rest I just press the middle, and it repeats it. Boom, 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 boom. You might find it somewhere, but I'm not going to recite it on this show, because this show is not That's not the topic of the show. This show, I might do another show and have that as the topic and just go both barrels with it, and have my piece. Well, it won't be peace. Yeah, there's no such thing as peace with Islam. There will not be peace on this earth while this accursed book still exists. Paraphrasing a quote, but you got the general gist of the meaning is there. Yeah. Ugh. And they were even there in silly costumes. Silly costumes. You're wearing a silly costume to protest the appointment of a Supreme Court justice, and you're expected to be taken seriously. Seriously, brainwashed libtards that don't check the facts, that don't freaking listen, that just and they're doing it because of, from what I understand, his stance on abortion. He doesn't like the murdering of fetuses, of babies. He doesn't like baby murdering. Because that's what abortion is. If some woman has not taken the necessary precautions, then you've got to... responsibility. That's all. Yeah. It's a woman's choice. It's a woman's choice to murder her baby. It's her body. What about the baby? What about the baby's body? What about the child? You know. There's certain circumstances where abortion is all right and correct, but only very certain circumstances. It should not be state-sponsored. That's what Planned Parenthood is. State-sponsored abortions. It is a supposed right in America to have a free abortion. This is the loony left. Loony lefties. And because of the puppeteers at the top are satanic, evil bastards that love to kill children. They love killing children and harvesting their body parts and using their fucking body parts of fetuses in their corporate entities like Pepsi. Pepsi contains aborted fetal tissue. Research it. It does. Don't be drinking no Pepsi. Yeah. And that's one of the stories from across the pond. Madness. What's a madness? The next story from across the pond is, I'm not sure if you've seen this upon the chans, upon the Q boards, upon the Facebook, but it's been, very well reported upon. The New York Times editorial. Anonymous editorial. So either A, it could be complete and utter BS, made up as a fantasy, or it could be true. Now, if it's BS, it's BS. It's fake news. Fake news. Yeah. How much of that is there? There isn't any. I'm having to do my own show because the TV shows and the news doesn't report the right freaking news. What's the world come to, eh? No, don't worry about it. I freaking enjoy this. It's quite fun. Hey. Yeah. So, this undercover operative, this deep state scumbag, he admits, because he actually admitted that he was a he. Someone mentioned that it was a he. So they've dropped, that whole freaking clanger that they drop. Oh, he did this, or he said this, or he's not this. So it's got to be a man. So it's a man inside the Trump White House, supposedly, trying to undermine the legitimate president of the United States of America. That is treason. No other word for it. Treason. And for the New York Times to get this article, to publish this article, they must have known its writer. They must have known its writer. So, in turn, if you know that someone is committing treason and you don't tell the authorities that this person is committing treason, you're committing treason yourself, are you not? Treason by association, treason by not admitting the truth. He's got them over a barrel. And they say so many times on the chans, these people are stupid. They are the clowns. They are... How on earth could they think that this was going to be successful? And I think actually Trump came out with a tweet upon his Twitter account stating, oh, if this person has wrote this, then they have committed treason, and there must be, what is it? The New York Times must tell the fucking president who it was, or else the New York Times and the New York Times people are committing treason themselves. Utter shambles. These deep state muppets are stupid. They keep shooting themselves in the foot every single time. They are clowns. And I know the plan's in place. I know the plan, and I know it quite well. But, I want it to be over and done with soon. I want it just to be done. I just want them to go, boom, done. Firing squad for a lot of them. Guantanamo for the rest of them. Yeah. I just want to see it over and done with. And then I want that ripple to spread. And I want it to come to this coast. And I want it to come to our shores. And I want to see the populist victory. I'm sick and tired of waiting. It's got to a point now where it's like preparing for the worst, knowing that it's going to happen. Not wanting to do things or invest in things because I know the shit is going to hit the fan. It's a gamble. It's a gamble to go out and buy something nice and new, because when it hits the fan, is that thing that's nice and new going to be useful to you? I'm going to put some more effort in, and I'm going to study the financial crash, because it's coming. We know it's coming. It's inevitable. It's been designed this way, all by design. Our financial system is fraudulent. Money is fraudulent, and it's all going to come crashing down sooner or later. I'm thinking it's going to be sooner. So I'm going to do a next show. I think next show I'm going to do the financial crash. Put it. Boom, 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 boom. Yeah. Now, last point from across the water. The last point from across the water. The weather. Who controls the weather? It seems to me that the deep state controls the weather. Another enormous hurricane about to hit the coast of America. They have hurricane machines. They have massive, massive rocket engines on the east coast of not on the west coast of Africa. See, on the west coast of Africa, that evaporate tons and tons and tons of seawater into the sky, into the atmosphere. Once you evaporated that water up, you have the HAARP arrays. I think there's a HAARP array in Africa as well. But there's definitely one in South America. There's definitely one in Alaska or up in the north of America. So, yeah, I think there is probably one. There could even be a floaty one, a one on a ship. There could be. If you wanted to control and manipulate the weather through a HAARP array, stick it on a ship and sail it around. And then you can manipulate the weather anywhere and everywhere. I've seen that Hurricane Irma was deliberately steered and directed by HAARP, by the HAARP array, the HAARP array. I've spelt it wrong a few times, but yeah, the HAARP array. The high power microwave, electromagnetic wave antennas that, research the HAARP array. I know quite a lot about it, and I'm not going to go into it on this show that much because this is just about why they are doing it, why they are pummeling the east coast of America with hurricanes. FEMA is the most powerful organization in America. It has the power to override not only the president, but the Constitution as well. That's why it is there. That's why the deep state love it so much. And if they can declare a state of emergency and rush their FEMA, because they now have FEMA tanks, FEMA infrastructure, FEMA forces, FEMA camps. FEMA is what they will use as peacekeepers, as the mighty boot of the deep state. That is what FEMA is. They will Hegelian it. They will cause a problem, a massive chuffing hurricane. They will get the reaction, people dying, and the solution, FEMA camps. Emergency is declared, emergency funds are drawn, and the people are then subjugated. The people are there, interned, encamped, and I see that as that if they can't, they've not been able to impeach, they've not been able to use the Article 25. Did they call them Articles? 25. Let's have a just look here. Yeah, because they've actually used the HAARP array over the UK as well. I'm pretty sure of that. Pretty sure that our jet stream, the Gulf Stream, is it the Gulf Stream? The one that comes up? No, it's last minute. I might have got it right in the first time. But our jet stream, the one that brings nice warm air, nice warm wet weather up from the equator to us, that keeps our climate the way it is, instead of being Nordic or Scandinavian, instead of having that sort of climate, we have our nice climate. Because of this jet stream, HAARP can, will, and has been used to change it and redirect it. So it's the Gulf Stream. Yeah. And we've seen it in multiple, announcements, and when they stand on stage and they say things. And I think it might have even been JFK that stated that they were looking to control the weather. Back in the 60s, the start of the 60s was JFK. And they were looking to control the weather then. 50 years later, what do you think they've been able to do? What technologies do you think they've been able to put in place to be able to manipulate the weather whichever way they want? The hyper ray can cause earthquakes. Why do you think Japan had to sign over its central banking system to the Americans back in the day? Because of the hyper ray. Because Japan is susceptible to earthquakes. There's been a few earthquakes in Japan over the past couple of years, and one over the past few weeks. Yeah. So back to the hurricane. The hurricane's there. Fear. Fear is the great power of the deep state. Fear. Fear, fear, fear. You will be afraid. You will fear the weather. You will fear global warming. This hurricane is proof that global warming is real. The weather's getting worse because of global warming. You will fear it. And it's, one of the greatest tools is fear. And like I said, step by step, you saw what happened after Katrina and how they purposely stopped aid and didn't help the people of New Orleans. Why do you think that was? So whenever it happens again, people will look to, you have to send them aid. Oh, we have to send them aid. We're sending FEMA. You get it? Then Puerto Rico, we sent them loads of aid, but they frigging hid it and stashed it and stored it. And they made the people starve to make Donald Trump look bad, using it to their advantage. But it will connect into this one as well. So the people will think, oh, the government could, or we're not going to get the clean water and the resources and the food, so we have to go to the camps. You see what's happening here? They're making it so the people are more inclined to follow the herd, to follow follow the way that they want them to act. They want them to isolate themselves. They want them to bring themselves to the FEMA camps and put themselves in the FEMA camps. They don't want to have to go around gathering up people and rounding the people up. No, they want to cause natural disasters so people are forced to leave their homes and go into the FEMA camps. It's that simple. They will have armed FEMA officers protecting these camps as well, making sure that people can't escape. And hats on to him. Trump is trying to do his best, but he has so many enemies on so many levels in so many different countries. It's one hell of an up-mountain struggle. But we fight. We will carry on fighting, and we will never surrender. It's that simple. This is our battle for our freedom. And the more people that understand this, the better. So, like, share, and subscribe and stuff. So I'm going to end the show here. And next show I'm going to do the to bring it back together and bring it back to the point. the financial crash. How do you think they're going to turn this place into into what they want it to be? Order out of chaos. Chaos they create. So, thank you all for watching. See you again soon. Thursdays, 8 o'clock. Yeah. Take care.